Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 23rd, 2018. Strong hand, long-term thinking, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. I forgot to say yesterday, I'm going to be speaking on December 3rd and 4th in New Orleans at the digitalcurrencycon.com. Check out that link below, the Eventbrite link where you can buy tickets. Get the 20% discount code by typing in Meister. Vortex will be speaking there. Blake Anderson will also be there. So yes, I will be in New Orleans December 2nd until the 5th. And then I will be in Los Angeles from December 5th until the 12th. And then I'm going to Tel Aviv, baby. And I'm going to be there quite some time. So if you're in any of those cities, yeah, get in touch. Come visit. Who knows if there'll be an event in LA. And of course in Tel Aviv, I'll always be hanging out at the Bitcoin Embassy. And so I'll be spending my New Year's in the land of Israel. Awesome. Okay. But New Year's is just a regular day. Don't blow it out of proportion. Don't value your wealth in women. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Pound that freaking like button, people. Pound it. All right. So I try to reach out to the 80%ers out there sometimes. I see, I still watch, well, everyone knows I'm a Baltimore Oriole fan, and we just had our worst season ever. But because I love statistics and numbers so much, I've remained a fan of baseball, despite knowing that, it can be a distraction. Of all the sports you have to use, in America at least, you have to use your brain the most with baseball and statistics. Anyway, the point is there's a guy named Marlins Man out there who he shows up at all the big sporting events all over the United States of America. He wears a bright orange Marlins jersey. And I've noticed him since 2014, definitely since the American League Championship Series in 2014. And I reached out to him on Twitter saying he should get into Bitcoin. Now, what does he really have to do with Bitcoin? Not much. He's a lawyer, and he's got a lot of money, and people talk about him because he goes to sporting events. And if he were to somehow get into Bitcoin, and I recommended it for a number of reasons. He could transfer money to his international fans. So I did one tweet about that a few days ago. Then I just tweeted another tweet to him. So I linked to that tweet below, retweet it. What's the harm? I mean, it was something different that I tried. I'm in motion. He's a smart guy, but he really is intertwined with the 80%ers mainstream of the world, as he goes to all sorts of NBA games, all sorts of I think he goes to he goes to a lot of NBA games, college football games. I think he goes to and stuff. And of course, he does go to Major League Baseball playoff games, and he's a fan of the Marlins. I give him credit with sticking with his team, at least when they've been terrible. Okay, so yeah, just retweet that. The main point of doing something like this is if someone that the mainstream follows and pays attention to all of a sudden starts talking Bitcoin, it's good for Bitcoin. It might wake some people up from their slumber, from their mindless going to the NBA game slumber, okay? And that life is about spending because he doesn't spend that wisely. I mean, he spends a lot of money on those tickets to games when he could just watch them at home for free. I mean, but this is what he likes to do. He's an unmarried man. He's in his 50s. He's a MGTOW. He's definitely gone his own way. I don't think he'd say he's a MGTOW, but he's a MGTOW. He's gone his own way. Enough. That was a Beyond Bitcoin Show type of moment right there. So just retweet that, dudes. Who knows if it will call any attention to him. But Elon Musk tweeted about Bitcoin recently, and people are excited about that. But more and more people, more and more celebrities will tweet about it. If it gets the 80%ers to buy it, then awesome. If it wakes people up, even better, even better. I don't put anybody on a pedestal, but I'm experimenting here, trying to get the word out to different people who might never have gotten the word about until it's way too late, and who can help spread the word here when we're still very early on. So Litecoin. A lot of you guys like Litecoin, so I have a Litecoin related. This is from the great Charlie Lee. And Charlie Lee says, the backwards and forwards compatibility of Bitcoin/Litecoin updates is highly underappreciated in this space, in my opinion. Think of the amount of resources a company needs to put into review to implement and test every forced upgrade for each supported coin. Any mistake could be money losing. So this is very interesting. Litecoin, by doing this, what's he called here? Backwards and forward compatibility, ensuring there's backwards and forwards compatibility between Bitcoin and Litecoin. For every company that uses Bitcoin that has to do various upgrades when there's changes with Bitcoin, well, and if they have a lot of other coins, they got to do separate changes for those ones. If they have Bitcoin and Litecoin, if there's a change with Bitcoin, that's it. There's their Litecoin change right there. So Litecoin is tagging along for the ride here, which is smart. Because obviously Bitcoin is the rock that all these companies are going to be worried about more so than the others. So why not? If we're changing our Bitcoin, it's easy as changing our Litecoin backend stuff, then why not carry Litecoin also? So it's a very good move on their part, and it's a very good point that it is highly underappreciated. And it will help Litecoin in the long run tag along with Bitcoin. And there's nothing with trying to tag along with the rock, with the one. They're not trying to be the next Bitcoin. They're doing the smart thing. They're being a complement to Bitcoin. And it's a flashback to the old days of 2013 when Litecoin was thought of as part of the Bitcoin community. There wasn't this greater crypto or altcoin community. There was the Bitcoin community, and Litecoin and Namecoin were part of it back then. Okay, so Drudge Report for crypto. This was tweeted out by Turdemeester. MerkelReport.com. It's all these crypto stories. It looks like the Drudge Report format. Okay, maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be a big thing one day. All right, pound that freaking like button, people. And because I've got some Coinbase news. There's always seems to be Coinbase news here. Today, this is from their blog. Today, we're proud to announce that Coinbase Custody has obtained a license under the New York State banking law to operate as an independent qualified custodian. Coinbase Custody will operate as a limited purpose trust company chartered by the New York Department of Financial Services. Okay, basically they're going to be competing with Fidelity and all those big boys, storing people's Bitcoin and be able to move it around, investment or whatever. The stuff that's Fidelity, control your own Bitcoin, control your own private key, so you don't have to worry about what this even is. But they're trying to compete with the Fidelities of the world too. They're trying to compete with on a lot of different levels, on a lot of different fronts with a lot of different companies. Maybe they're expanding their reach a little too far here. Who knows? But that obviously they go by the New York State rules. They play by all the rules. And whether we like it or not, the people used to traditional financial mechanisms are used to other people holding their finances, holding their money, controlling their private key in the terms of Bitcoin, unfortunately. So this is going to be a big business, and Coinbase is entering it. And the official press release by the the New York Department of Financial Services is very interesting. DFS authorizes Coinbase Global Inc. to form Coinbase Custody Trust Company LLC DFS. Also approves Coinbase Trust to offer custody services of Bitcoin, Bcash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and Litecoin, and Ripple. Oh my God. It said XRP, which is Ripple. So that last one, that's interesting. That's real interesting. That'll make some of those wild 80% Ripplers mighty darn happy. I didn't see if it pumped the price. I don't hear many people talking about this, but you can check the press release out for yourself. It's linked to below. You can check out the Coinbase blog. It's linked to below. Yeah, unfortunately, amazingly enough, this points in the direction that Ripple is going to be part of this big financialization of cryptos. I thought they would try to avoid dealing with something that's so centralized. I mean, they got the permission. Coinbase at least got the permission. Again, it mentions the classic top tier that we're always hearing about: Bcash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, and Litecoin, which obviously are already sold on regular Coinbase too. So is there a stablecoin bubble going on? Well, and this was tweeted out by, not Money Tricks, by Whale Panda. And he just linked to this, stableconf.com. Oh, yes, there is a stablecoin conference. I think it's November 8th and 9th in Hungary, in Budapest. I didn't even write, I just memorized all this stuff, the dates and the location. But it's linked to below. They're having a stablecoin conference. Is that a sign of a bubble? Because how can you have a stablecoin conference? It's just not. Wow. I mean, pound that like button if you how much this space has evolved. I mean, you might say, well, that's just into like a nonsense, which it basically is. But I mean, it's grown. The space has grown. I mean, the space is going to have some ridiculous things. The crypto space is going to have ICOs, 95% of which are completely nonsense. All sorts of people, saying they're ICO experts. Maybe they're going to be stablecoin experts now. It's just a wild and wacky ride. Don't get distracted by the glamour of a stablecoin conference or the glamour of an ICO. You know what we do here. We pound that like button with our freaking strong hands because we're holding on to those Bitcoins with our strong hands. We're thinking 2020 halving. We know what the 2020 halving is. We know what the freaking halvings are. Okay? It's not that glamorous, is it? It's not like having a stablecoin conference with strippers in Hungary. I don't know if there are going to be strippers there. But I mean, probably in Budapest. I hope it was. Yeah, it was Budapest. Anyway, I think I'm going to mess up now. Okay, so they probably have strippers there. But value your wealth in Bitcoin. You don't go to. Why would you even waste money on such a thing? A stripper. Why? I'm walking around this. They have different regulations here, and I pointed that out. I'm in Santiago, Chile. I'm walking by this. I could tell it was a club, and a guy like grabs me. He's like, "Senor, senor!" He wants me to come in there. I'm like, no, don't even touch me, man. But then I'm walking by, and right on ground level, you can see through the screen. The strippers are just grinding. It's like right in your face, but you can't see that. You can only see their bodies and stuff. Of course, I value my wealth in Bitcoin. I was like, the heck, I would never pay to see a naked woman. And you can get that for free, obviously. But again, or you could just, you could, when you're older, you could pay for it, I guess, if you want. If you really don't blow your load on superficial things like strippers and women. If someone loves you, they'll love you, and they won't care about your money, and you can hang out with them and all that. Okay, that's for the Beyond. If you like that kind of talk, check out Saturday's show, Beyond Bitcoin. I have subject matters like that all the time. It is interesting to point out that the regulatory rules here in Santiago are clearly much different than in many cities in America, where you can just like walk by and almost see strippers on the ground level, like right through the blackened out or grayed out windows. It's some of you are laughing. You're like, you American, you'll see nothing in your time. Yeah, I know. We're sheltered. Okay, we're sheltered. I mean, you need to get all these permits if you want to open a strip joint in Baltimore. I mean, and that's in Baltimore. I mean, which is like a dangerous beyond compare. You'd think, I mean, they got to make money somehow. And that's part of the reason Baltimore is so dangerous, because there's so many regulations. Who would want to deal with the city and open a business in the city? And I'm not just talking for strip joints, any type of business, a restaurant, this or that. You got to pay the piper. And they're having new real estate taxes coming out now in Baltimore, I hear. So glad I sold that house, baby, at the homes that I have owned in Baltimore. And you better believe all these properties that I've owned in Baltimore, lots of that cash that I made from that stuff got turned into Bitcoin, okay? And some of it, of course, is in my bank account now, and I just live off of it, traveling around the world, doing whatever the heck I please. We're going to get into that in a second, actually, because some people don't understand how it's humanly possible to do what I do, that I must be paid off by some mysterious entity out there that's telling me to promote that's paying me to promote Bitcoin. There's a mysterious entity out there. Okay, so Jeet, the great Jeet, has a tweet out. Jeet has a tweet. Pound that like button. I can rhyme. All right, so defections continue from the nation-state system. Singapore, which every other country in the region follows, as a model for development, invested in Binance through its sovereign wealth fund. Okay, you know what? That was something I overlooked. That happened the other day. And so Singapore has the average, the people of Singapore on average, they have the highest IQ of a nation state on earth. So obviously their leaders are quite intelligent also. And they're buying into, so that makes you wonder if they're announcing their sovereign wealth fund is buying into an exchange. Are they buying Bitcoin silently on the side and don't want to announce it yet because they want to get their Bitcoin? Because we have talked about this on this channel numerous times, how there are going to be countries, right, buying up Bitcoin secretly, but not saying they're buying it up because they don't want the price to rise. They want to get as much wealth as possible before. So one of these countries one day is going to have it leak. We've been buying Bitcoin for a while, and that will again pump the price and cause a cold war between nations in terms of buying Bitcoin and crypto. And Vinny Lingham, you know, love him or hate him, has been predicting that for quite some time, since at least 2016. And that was one of the him talking about that subject matter, that eventually countries are going to be buying it. That really got me like all into Bitcoin. Where I started spending lots of fiat on Bitcoin when it was still like $700 and under, of course, and the rest is history. So now, yeah, this tweet also reminds me again, which country is going to be the first one to leak out that they bought it. And you know, Anthony Hoffman always thinks it's going to be Japan. That's his prediction. Hey, maybe it'll be Singapore. Now, speaking about regulations, there's a place. It's kind of easy to open a business there, but there's certain things you can't do there in Singapore. They got some, yeah, they're centrally controlled, to say the least. You couldn't open a strip joint too easily there. They've got lots of family value type of related rules there. But anyway, people, to each their own. If you don't like it, you can move around. Don't be a treat. If you don't like Singapore, move somewhere else. If you don't like the United States, move somewhere else. Just pack up your wealth being on your Trezor, and then leave. That's it. Oh, wait, I own a house in Baltimore City. How can I? Well, that's your mistake, dude. Yes, I know they said real estate is such a great investment. And then you end up paying 2.3% tax every year to the city of Baltimore. What else do you? The fines, the mortgage, the water bill. I mean, it's the insurance, the people suing you because they tripped on your sidewalk or whatever. Again, Bitcoin, there's no maintenance. The maintenance cost is that freaking Trezor, okay? That is the asset of the future and present, okay? It's still early. I was about to say it's the asset of the future. Indeed, it is. But it's the present now, and it can be your asset of the present too. Don't make up excuses saying, I'll just wait till Coinbase and Fidelity can just store it all for me safely. No. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked about New Orleans, and I'm going to be in Los Angeles also. We always love going back to Southern California. Okay, so here are some quotes from, so I don't think it's linked to below, but it's at disruptmeister.com. Remember, check out disruptmeister.com. It's all my old videos, over 1,100, and the ones I've appeared in. So I was just on the Ken Amadori's show. What's that called? The Dart show that I can't remember the name of. Crush the Street. I was on Crush the Street. And here, I think I'm going to make this a segment, a weekly segment. The insane comments about Bitcoin that you read under certain videos or on social media. And this is the kind of stuff that can weaken your hand if you don't understand. If you take it seriously. You can't take this kind of stuff seriously. The paranoid no-coiner comment of the day, okay, from people who are not in motion. This is an example of someone who is not in motion. They left it under the Crush the Street video. You can check it out yourself. Nope, Bitcoin is crumbling too. The vast majority of the world rejects your virtual nothing tokens. Real wealth is physical and requires no fragile electronic ecosystem to survive. Does not require a continuous and costly electrical input to function. Has immutable properties and tangible utility, and is cumbersome for billionaires to hoard, not for poor people. Keep holding, suckers. Yeah, I will keep holding. And you can buy some property in Baltimore City. We'll see who does better. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, and here's another. So here's another weird one. Anyone who travels the world promoting Bitcoin must be sponsored. Think about it. Okay. So again, this is like the conspiracy-minded one of the comment. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you see everywhere. So, and you hear these accusations about so many people. So since I personally know myself, I know I'm just, who the heck? Is there some Bitcoin? Is Satoshi sponsoring Adam Meister? Is Satoshi, has he been paying me all along to talk about Bitcoin and make videos and travel around to freaking Mozambique of all places? And think about this. Is, I mean, so anyway, people want to, the people who are not in motion out there, instead of understanding how people can be in motion, they're so stuck in their ways that they can't understand that people like me can be in motion, that people like me have long-term thinking and can actually save money and don't need to get ridiculous things. I mean, people like me have self-control. Like again, the people who complain, they have no concept of self-control. They're impulsive, no long-term thinking, and they're not in motion. So they come up with stories, they come up with excuses for why someone is in motion. And so it's not just me. It's a lot. When they see success, they got to come up for excuse. Why does that person have success, and why can't I be successful? So that they can't blame themselves. No. They can't blame themselves for not being. They have a scapegoat. They have they've got to blame. There's jealousy. It's unbelievable. But this is what you see toward Bitcoin. This is what you see toward wealthy individuals, and it's just amazing. It comes in so many different forms in the comments sections. And on Twitter, on all sorts of things, people coming up with the craziest theories about people. No, those people were in motion. They had long-term thinking. They planned. Maybe you should learn some of those concepts. Maybe you should better yourself and take personal responsibility that you're a failure because you're a failure. Change it. You're not a failure because of Adam Meister, or you are a failure. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that, because that's the first step. Then you move on. All right. Okay. We'll talk about that on the Beyond Bitcoin show too. So, but again, there are funny comments out there. So remember, when you hear a comment like those comments that I just read that are ripping on Bitcoin or ripping on people who have Bitcoin, before you panic, think about, well, why are they saying these things? And wait a second, I got to hold my Bitcoin tighter, man. This is a way. I'm not in no. You're saying to yourself this. These people are no coiners. They're not in motion. They haven't done anything. I have done something by purchasing my Bitcoin. I've taken this step, a proactive step, and now I am holding, and I am thinking long term. These are all proactive things. These people, they do nothing. They're not in motion. They're solid. They're trees. They stick in the same place. Okay. Techbalt.com, TECHBALT. You can see all the This Week in Bitcoin shows. And of course, on Twitter, I am Techbalt, TECHBALT. If you need help remembering that name of mine, it used to mean Technology Baltimore. I was, I dealt with technology stuff, internet stuff, and I'm from Baltimore originally. Okay, Trezor has a blog post out. Trezor Password Manager. Cryptography to the rescue. Trezor Password Manager is the ultimate tool for storing and cryptographically protecting all your passwords. Just install the Chrome extension, plug in your Trezor, and you are ready to go. Okay, sounds pretty interesting there for all you dudes that believe in password managers. I guess this would be the safest of the password managers if it's going to be through the Trezor. And some people say that's the way to go, because you can have some complex password. I'm still paranoid about well, is my password manager going to lose all my password? But again, it's Trezor, so I'm not paranoid about them losing my Bitcoin, so I shouldn't be paranoid about them losing my passwords. But if you want to read up on that, it's linked to below. There is somebody sent me this today, so I'm going to mention it. There's a guy who's in motion, cointext.io. Send cryptocurrencies to anyone with a mobile phone number without internet, using simple text messages. And I feel like I mentioned something like this before, but this dude, cointext.io, he only deals with a Dash, Litecoin, and Bcash. So if you want to, these are the innovations that are going on with cryptocurrency. He's not innovating with Bitcoin, so be it. Some Lightning Network will do something. Person will do something just like this. But so yeah, it wasn't the cointext.io guy that reached out to me. It was another person who said, "Adam, did you know about this?" So that person was in motion. Okay, I feel like I forgot something, but here we're at the end of the show. I'm going to talk about this Cory Booker dude in New Jersey. You know, he's a senator from New Jersey. He's going to run for president, obviously, and he's got. Well, I'll read this here. An exclusive, and this ties into Bitcoin. Trust me, and to long-term thinking, and to not being part of the mainstream, and to not fitting in. An exclusive, because I don't usually talk about politics, but this is about money. Okay, an exclusive look at Cory Booker's plan to fight wealth inequality. Give poor kids money. These accounts would be off limit until the child turns 18, at which point the child could use them for specific asset building purchases, like a down payment on a house, for example, or college tuition. Booker hasn't come up with a full list of eligible purchases yet. Okay, so Cory Booker is coming out with his gimmick. He's like, we're going to give $50,000 to poor kids all over the United States. And they're going to be able to use it on houses and colleges when they grow up. Where will the $50,000, where will the money come from? Where will the money come from? It will either be from taxing the productive people or from printing the money. And I think it's going to be printing the money. And the voting class out there wants free stuff. So whether it be Cory Booker or someone else in the future, something like this is probably going to happen in the future. Maybe around 2024, 2028, which is funny. These presidential elections are always around Bitcoin halvings. And this type of thing that Booker is proposing is completely the opposite of a Bitcoin halving. Okay? He's talking about increasing the new money supply, while the Bitcoin halving is decreasing the new money supply. So let me tell you this. Okay, if you're worried about your kid or you're worried about poor kids, instead of telling them to be dependent on the government and waiting around for them to print a lot of money so they can buy college educations, which would make them more dependent on the government, tell them to get in something that's totally the opposite, and that is Bitcoin. Give them a little bit of Bitcoin now. Let them earn a little bit of Bitcoin now. Don't give it, but let them buy it, okay? But this should be a sign to everyone out there as a long-term thinker. This is on the horizon, okay? And the dollar will survive. It will get inflated away. Projects like these are going to come up in horrifying projects like this are going to come. So you're aware. Don't just sit there and say, oh, there was nothing I could do. All my wealth got inflated away. No, just buy the Bitcoin now. Bitcoin is a way to fight this. Bitcoin is the opposite of this, what's being talked about here. And, try to, if someone says, yeah, man, that's an awesome idea. Yeah, giving poor kids $50,000. You tell them about Bitcoin, those people, and make them think at least, and maybe they'll buy Bitcoin. Again, this type of socialism, whatever you want to call it, redistribution, money printing, it's the masses, the 80%ers, by definition, outnumber the 20%ers. The clear thinking people will be outvoted. Okay, democracy is mob rule with a suit on. Okay, so something like this is going to happen. People get behind these pretty faces that preach this kind of stuff. Their followers, they don't think, they have no long-term thing. They don't think about what the consequences are to their wealth. But you know the consequences to your wealth if you stay in that system where something like that is going to happen. So no excuse. Get into Bitcoin. You will fight this. But and the funny thing is, though, if you're in Bitcoin and this actually happens, this will make you wealthier, because you will be a holder of the good money of and the US dollar, and all the other countries will follow, will become worse and worse and worse as Bitcoin becomes, as more halvings pass, more of that fiat will be produced. There will be less and less new Bitcoin. It will be an awesome combination for those who hold, for those who did not get caught up in this madness. And you plan for your own darn kids, okay? That is awesome. Don't wait around for this. Oh, so yeah, my kid's going to have a college tuition paid by Cory Booker. No. If you want your kid to go to college, you save for it now. And you'll be able, and it's so funny. They're like, this money, these $50,000 funds, it will only be able to be spent on housing in college. Sure. That's what, and that the government's going to be able to manage it all so great. Again, if you believe all that, then good luck in 80% land. You could deal with it, and don't come complain to me in 2032 when you're paying $180,000 a year for your college education, which is getting you a job at Starbucks. Well, I've got my Bitcoin and using 0.1 to buy buy my kid a new house. I don't have any kids now, but I'm saying if I had a kid or something. All right. Pound that like button, everybody. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, check out the notes section below. And yeah, that's the end of the show. I'll say hi to everybody in the chat right now.